Hello, friends, and welcome back to another set of malicious compliance stories. In this story, one retail worker faces off with a pair of entitled customers convinced that a $3,500 fridge should replace their $1,800 one at no cost. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with a turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. The day a Karen yelled, "Bait and switch," at a refrigerator. This happened back in 2012 at a now-dead big box chain that anchored malls. The company was in decline, but it was still the largest retailer in large home appliances. Our store was in a more affluent area, and out of all the stores I worked in, this one had the most entitled customers. I was a commissioned salesperson, but I was senior enough that I had an approval card and would handle general customer service issues. A customer, C, and his wife, W, had bought a store-brand side-by-side refrigerator for $1,800. It arrives, and unfortunately, it's a lemon. The compressor won't engage at all. Normally, in these cases, the delivery team would automatically set up a next-day delivery for a working one. Nope, the customers refuse. Store-brand has insulted their very existence. They will never buy store-brand again. They come to the store and tell me their tragic tale. Their lives have been turned absolutely upside down by this horrible tragedy. They picked out a new fridge, a name brand, which retailed for $2,000. They had a friend recommend it to them, and all of the reviews and industry ratings looked great. But here's the catch. It's the exact same fridge. Name brand makes the store brand side-by-sides, and this happened to be the exact twin model. I try to avoid taking a $200 hit. Me. Sure, we could do that exchange, but I wanted to make sure that you're aware that name brand actually makes our store brand side-by-sides. They have the exact same compressor. You'd save $200 if you kept the store brand, and you'd still end up with the same fridge. C. I know that. I don't care. I'm never having another store brand in my home again. And we're not paying that $200. It's not our fault that you sent us a faulty product. Now we have to wait, and it's frankly insulting that you'd even imply I should pay the difference. I know the name brand often goes on sale for $1,800, so I'm safe to give it for the same price. As I'm double-checking that I have the margin to make the discount, I notice something. It's back-ordered. It'll be over 2 weeks before name brand can deliver. Me. While normally you would need to pay the price difference, I understand how upsetting this is. For your inconvenience, I can offer an even exchange. I did notice that name brand is currently out of stock on this model, so it'll be another week before we can deliver. Does that work for you? You would think I'd kick their freaking dog. W gasps and covers her mouth. C turns an interesting shade of red. C. That is outrageous. That will absolutely not work. You expect us to live without a fridge for a week? I will point out now that they still had their old fridge, which was in working condition. Me. Sorry, but I really don't have a way to get one faster. The manufacturer doesn't have any at all until the next batch are ready. W. But customer name, we need it now. C. Do you see that? My wife's about to cry. We need to find another solution. Me. Well, we do have more fridges available across multiple brands. I'd be happy to show you other options in the same range. This is where I think they were trying to rip us off. They immediately go for other brands' top-of-the-line French door refrigerator. It's not even the same category. The thing's on sale for $3,500. C. I think this one's got good reviews. It in fact had some of the best reviews. Is it available? Me. It looks like it is. We're still early enough I could have it delivered tomorrow. The difference comes to $1,700. Did you want to put that on your store card? The wife's jaw drops to the floor. W. What do you mean, the difference? You said you'd do an even exchange. Me. Well, yes, on the name brand side-by-side, this is a completely different brand, and it's not even the same type of fridge. I can't do an even exchange, but we will waive the 15% restocking fee and refund the delivery fee for the trouble. C. I want a manager now. I call the department manager, who's equally confused at the demand. He offers to take off the same $200 we would have for the name brand. Of course, that's rejected with prejudice. He takes it up to 15%. That's $525. But no, they demand an even exchange. He's now at the point he has to flat out refuse. Manager, that's not something I can do. You can get the store brand tomorrow, you can wait a week for the name brand, or you can get the other brand tomorrow after paying the $1,175 difference. What works best for you? W with tears in her eyes. This is bait and switch, bait and switch. She literally screamed this next bit to the point it echoed into the mall entrance, bait and switch. As she did this, the manager was calmly doing something on his tablet. I'll never forget this. Once she's done screaming, he hands her the tablet with a dictionary definition of bait and switch. Manager: ma'am, you seem confused. A bait and switch would be us advertising one product that isn't actually available for us to sell and then trying to get you to buy something else. I can get you that store brand anytime you want. W is visibly confused for a second, then she shoves the tablet back into the manager's hands. She takes her phone out of her purse, hands shaking. W: you know what? I'm calling my lawyer. I'm going to tell my lawyer about your bait and switch. And that was it. Manager and I look at each other. I swear he was holding back a smile. Manager: I'm sorry, but since you've decided to pursue legal channels, we can no longer assist you at the store level. I can get you the number for our corporate legal team. You'll need to direct any further questions to them directly. W: no, you're going to talk to my lawyer right now. And Manager: I can't continue this conversation. I'll notify the delivery team to cancel your order. You'll get a refund to your original card. It might take 3 to 4 business days for your provider to show the refund. C, looking mildly concerned: now, hold on. My wife jumped the gun a little. W: no, I'm calling our lawyer. We're not going to be taken advantage of. Manager: I'm sorry, but we can't keep interacting with you. C, but at this point, my manager and I walked away. The lady sat over in mattresses, apparently waiting for her lawyer to answer for a few minutes. Her lawyer must not have cared too much for her business because he apparently never answered. Her husband awkwardly paced small appliances before he walked back to her. He wildly gesticulated while yell whispering to her, and they left. Transaction was refunded. I never saw them again. Remember this, fellow retail travelers. A customer threatening legal action is always the fastest excuse to get out of an annoying situation. Rather than just admit she was wrong, she insisted on involving her lawyer, at which point the store was no longer allowed to interact with her. I sort of wish I could have seen her reaction when her lawyer laughed in her face for trying to sue a store for something it didn't do. And our next story. Why people think any scrub equals permission. So I'm a male nurse and work in the emergency room. My shift ended a little late today, like always, and I really wasn't in the mood for BS, so I headed to the changing rooms to shower and change. The locker rooms are in a separate building, so normally I have to leave the building in which the ER is in, another separate building, cross the main building, and then enter the separate building. But there are some shortcuts in the hospital, and really no one cares. If you wear scrubs or a lab coat, no one will bother you. Also, I was wearing dark blue scrubs. Only the ER and ICU staff wear dark blue. Most bedside nurses wear white. So as always, I walked through the hospital, greeted some other nurses or doctors I knew, but then stopped to look on my phone, and then it started. Woman: excuse me. Me: huh? Me? Woman: yes, you. Is there anyone else here? I'm searching a damn nurse for like ever, and the unit clerk couldn't help me. Me: okay, maybe I can help. What's the problem? Woman: in which room is patient's name? The clerk wouldn't tell me. Me: well, I'm sorry, ma'am, I don't work here. Woman: I don't believe you. You're wearing scrubs, so you're a nurse. Now, where is patient's name? I'm his wife and want to visit him. Me: like I said, I don't work in this station. You'll have to just ask one of the nurses around here. Woman: you're just lazy. At this point, I was really annoyed, so I basically detached my ID card from my scrub and showed it to her. It says clearly RN OP emergency room. She looked at it, then at me, then again at the ID card. Yes, I get it. Yes, this photo was taken after nursing school. Yes, I still had hair. Back then I had thick curls, now I have a buzz cut. And I had some pounds less, and my soul wasn't corrupted by my healthcare job. But my face is really unique. My nose is curved. It got broken when I was 17, and I have a scar on my forehead. I ran into a glass screen door when I was a kid and smashed it like the Kool-Aid Man. This woman apologized, then she flagged down another nurse who actually worked there. I took a shower, changed, and drove home. I just remembered this story today when something similar happened when I was bringing a patient from the ER to the neurology. At least she apologized instead of doubling down irrationally, as often happens with these entitled, mentally myopic morons. And our next story. The day Vegan Karen got arrested over my cooking. So this all started about 6 months ago when my peaceful suburban life was interrupted by the arrival of Vegan Karen. I live in a quiet neighborhood. My kitchen faces the backyard, and when I cook, I like to keep the window open. I love fresh air, and honestly, nothing beats the smell of good food cooking while you listen to some music. Enter Karen. She moved in a few houses down, renting the place that used to belong to an older couple who were as sweet as pie. I didn't think much of her at first, a bit odd-looking with her Save the Planet shirts and the ever-present smell of essential oils, but hey, live and let live. Until the day I made a steak. It was a Friday afternoon, perfect weather, so I had the window open while cooking. About 10 minutes in, I hear a knock, knock, knock on my side gate. I peek out, and there she is, short, wiry, with that determined, I'm about to ruin your day look. I go out and she immediately says, "Excuse me, could you close your window when you're cooking meat? The smell drifts into my yard and it's disgusting." Now for context, her house is a solid 50 feet away, across 2 lawns and a fence. There's no way she could smell my cooking unless she was standing directly in my hedges with her nose in the air. I blinked a few times, trying to make sure I'd heard her right, and then said, as politely as possible, "Sorry, but your house is pretty far away. I doubt the smell reaches that far." Her lips pursed tighter than an overstuffed Ziploc bag. She said, "Fine, we'll see about that." I didn't think much of it until 3 days later. I was making a stir-fry, no meat this time, just tofu, veggies, and sauce, when I noticed flashing lights outside my front window. I open the door and 2 cops are standing there. "Hi, sir," one of them says. "We got a report about strong meat odors coming from your house." I swear I almost laughed right in their faces. I explained that I wasn't even cooking meat, just dinner. They seemed half amused, half annoyed, and after glancing around, one of them muttered, "We've been here before. She's called about her other neighbors too." They told me I wasn't doing anything wrong and left. Apparently they told her the same thing because I saw her standing at the edge of her driveway looking at me like I'm the devil. Now, a normal person would have stopped there, realized they made themselves look ridiculous, and gone about their life. Not Vegan Karen. The next time I cooked grilled cheese sandwiches, for crying out loud, I heard shouting from her yard. She was yelling something about toxic fumes and animal torture. I ignored it. 5 minutes later, bang! Glass shattered somewhere behind me. My heart jumped. I thought maybe something fell off a shelf. Nope. I turned around and there was my kitchen window. Broken. She'd thrown a rock through it. I bolted outside, and sure enough, she was standing in her backyard, arms crossed like she just won a prize. "You were warned," she yelled. "If you won't close your windows, I'll make sure you never open them again." Well, that was it for me. I called the cops immediately. This time they didn't laugh. They showed up fast, saw the shattered window, and went straight to her door. I stayed outside watching from my porch while she argued with them. She tried to deny it at first, then changed her story about 3 times. Eventually, they cuffed her right there on the front step. Turns out she'd already had several noise and harassment complaints from other neighbors. Apparently, I wasn't her first problem. One guy told me later she screamed at his teenage son for mowing the lawn because grass deserves to die. The landlord wasn't too thrilled either. After paying to replace my window and hearing about the police visit, he evicted her within a week. I didn't even have to say a word, just signed the statement, replaced my window, and went back to enjoying my peaceful, meaty life. The smell of victory and ribeye never tasted so good. And that, my friends, is how Vegan Karen got arrested over my cooking. You've got to admire the commitment. Most people just light a candle or shut their window when they don't like a smell. But Vegan Karen, she starts a personal crusade against airflow. I mean, who even thinks to call the police over strong meat odors? That dispatcher must have put her on mute just to laugh. Then she doubles down by throwing a rock through your window? Because nothing says love thy neighbor like committing a felony over someone else's dinner. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.